Imagine climbing your career ladder only to realize the rungs on the ladder don't work the same way anymore. They don't lead to the same results or results that are moving your career forward. You've built skills, worked hard, and earned your leadership role, but now what got you here won't get you to the next level. This is the challenge Michael Goldsmith unpacks in his book, and today we're diving in to explore how to keep growing, adapting, and leading with impact. The challenge of leadership growth is that transition in leadership requires a mind shift. According to Gallup, only 18% of employees feel they're in jobs that use their strengths. 18%. And the Wall Street Journal reports that 50% of managers fail within their first 18 months. Why? Because they relied on the habits that once made them successful without adjusting for their new roles. Welcome to Change Agent Leadership. I'm your host, Jonathan Hankin. And the book we'll be reviewing today is What Got You Here Won't Get You There by Marshall Goldsmith. Today, I want to highlight some key points and takeaways from this book that will enable you and I to get unstuck in our current positions and or our mindset and press through to reach our goals. Let's face it, even if we work hard, plan ahead, develop our teams, and are good at what we do, how do we know that's good enough to keep up with others and in an ever-changing world, and let alone influence those around us? We all know that leaders who stop learning stop growing. So how do we find the balance of doing our job while pushing ahead? Goldsmith covers 20 habits in his book that hold us back from reaching the top. Today, I want to focus on three main areas that Goldsmith talks about in regards to how successful people become even more successful. And the three areas I want to highlight are: one, identify our mindset and behaviors that can hold us back; two, be willing to change, asking what do we need to stop doing in order to move forward; and three, seek feedback. The paradox of success is when our strengths many times hold us back. Marshall Goldsmith identifies four key beliefs that contribute to leadership's success. One, the belief I have succeeded. In other words, we trust our skills and talents that have led to success. Two, we believe I can succeed. We have confidence in our abilities to succeed in the present situations and in the future. Three, I will succeed. We're motivated to succeed, achieve our goals, and believe that past success predicts future success. I choose to succeed is the fourth one, because we have a sense of ownership in our success, believing that we are in control of our path. In other words, we have a high need for self-determination. While these four benefits are powerful drivers of achievement, they also create a paradox. The very mindset that got us here may be the same one holding us back from reaching the next level. Goldsmith warns that these four beliefs, while they're not bad, can lead to leadership superstition, a faulty assumption that our success is entirely due to our behaviors, rather than recognizing that we may have succeeded in spite of our behaviors. On page 26, Goldsmith explains, quote, "Superstition is merely the confusion of correlation with causality. The more we achieve, the more reinforcement we get. One of the greatest mistakes of successful people is assumptions. Quote, I believe this way, and therefore I achieve results. Therefore, I must be achieving results because I behave this way." End quote. The other quote he has tied to this is, "The belief is sometimes true, but not always." That's where assumption kicks in. The difference lies between success that happens because of our behaviors and success that happens in spite of our behaviors. Almost every leader I meet has achieved success by doing many things right, but also in spite of some behaviors that defy common sense. One of my greatest challenges is helping leaders see the difference and avoid the superstition trap. End quote. In the book, Goldsmith illustrates this with an example of a leader named Harry, highly successful, yet a terrible listener. The question is, what if Harry improved his listening skills? How much further could he go? Identifying your own leadership superstitions is important. Consider this. What beliefs or behaviors might be holding you back? What habits do you repeat despite knowing they annoy colleagues, friends, or family members? Now ask yourself 1. Do I continue these behaviors because I believe it's tied to my success? 2. Does this behavior generally help me? Or is it an irrational suggestion that I've never questioned, or a superstition that I've never questioned? If I changed, could I achieve the greater success? Through coaching and personal reflection, I've seen common examples of these self imposed limitations, and they sometimes come out in forms like dismissing others' opinions if they haven't been in the position long enough or they haven't proved themselves to you. 2, telling long stories to prove experience and competencies, which is not necessary. 3, claiming to relate to others' experiences even when it's a stretch or it's just a flat out lie. 4, going it alone, believing it's faster and earns more credit than seeking help. And the last one, neglecting communication, assuming performance alone speaks for itself. Do any of these resonate with you? If so, consider these 3 questions. What would happen if I changed? Is this behavior holding me back? Or 3, am I holding others back because of it? And most importantly, what is one small step I can take today to start changing? Change starts with awareness, but accountability sustains it. Who will you invite to help you stay on track? So the first point was to identify our mindset and behaviors that can hold us back. The second point Goldsmith has, I'd like to talk about, is being willing to change, asking what we need to stop doing to move forward. Goldsmith emphasizes that becoming a better leader is often about knowing what to stop doing. On page 35, he writes, quote, "We spend a lot of time teaching leaders what to do. Well, we don't spend enough time teaching leaders what to stop. Half of the leaders I've met don't need to learn what to do. They need to learn what to stop." End quote. As leaders move up in their career, the nature of challenges shifts. Early on, success is often tied to technical expertise. A CFO, for example, must understand balance sheets, financial strategy, and other things. But at higher levels, technical skills are a given. The difference becomes behavior. In leadership, people skills, or the lack of them, become more pronounced as you advance. Many of us have seen talented leaders quickly rise only to hit a ceiling due to poor emotional intelligence. Meanwhile, others who may not be as technically skilled or driven thrive because their ability to connect with people inspire others. Goldsmith highlights at a certain point the most meaningful improvements leaders can make are behavioral. He outlines some common interpersonal challenges that hold leaders back. In other words, he calls them transactional flaws that create friction in a relationship. I'm going to read some of them out. I'm not going to read all of them. They will be in an exercise that will be attached at the bottom. You can see in the show notes. It's a PDF you can download along with this entire exercise. So as you hear this list, and I'm going to read the top several, consider rating yourself on a 1 to 10. 1, that's not me. 10, that's definitely me, or somewhere in the middle. 1, is this you? Winning too much. In other words, you prioritize personal victory at the expense of others. 2, adding too much value, jumping in to improve every idea instead of just listening. 3, passing judgment, reacting with an opinion instead of simply saying, thank you. 4, making destructive comments, using sarcasm or negativity that adds no real value. And the last one I'll list here, starting with no, but, or however. In other words, immediately shutting people down. How did you score? Did any of those resonate with you? I'll be the first to admit, I've been guilty of several of these over the years. And if you're finding yourself saying, yeah, but I'd encourage you to pause. Instead of rationalizing behaviors that may have served you in the past, consider what could happen if you were intentional about changing them. As an executive coach, I've always recommended choosing just 1 or 2 areas to work on at a time. Changing requires focus, consistency, and realistic expectations. And if you're thinking, but these behaviors have helped me get to where I am today, remember Goldsmith's insight. The very habits that brought you success may now be the ones holding you back. The key is owning your growth rather than just hoping things will improve on their own. One of the most effective ways to start this process is with an emotional intelligence, an EQ assessment. I always begin my coaching engagements with one because it provides clear insights into strengths and development areas. I personally am certified in the EQI 2.0 assessment. It's the only scientifically validated emotional intelligence assessment that I know of. There might be others, but I'm not aware of them. If you take the assessment, you get a 27-page report with lots of insights and a simple action plan that you can follow, as well as a 1-hour personalized coaching session to review the results and talk about next steps. If you've never taken an EQ assessment, I highly recommend it. It's just under $400 for the assessment and the feedback session. And it can be a game changer in identifying what's working, what's not, and how to lead more effectively. I'll include the link in the show notes and also an example report so you can see what that report would look like if you were to take it. So again, just to summarize, the first one was to identify mindset and behaviors that can hold us back. 2, be willing to change, asking what do we need to stop doing to move forward. And the last one, the last barrier we're going to talk about is the barrier to overcome not seeking feedback. Marshall Goldsmith highlights a truth we all know deep down. We accept feedback that is consistent with our self-image, and we reject feedback that is inconsistent. This is why true growth requires a level of self-awareness and the willingness to hear what we may not want to. Who do you have that's a trusted person, a safe person, who could help you reflect on 1 or 2 areas you want to improve in? Here's the key. When soliciting feedback, avoid vague or defensive questions. Goldsmith emphasizes there's only one question that works. He really emphasizes this. And the question is this: how can I do better? That's it. It's simple, it's direct, and most importantly, it invites constructive, actionable feedback. Goldsmith suggests an exercise often used in coaching called complete the sentence. For example, if you've identified time management as an area for growth with you, start with question: if I am better at time management, I will fill in the blank. At first, some of the answers might be surface level. I might have more time in the day. I might be on time to meetings. I might have time to go to the gym, and so on. But as you keep going, you'll get to deeper personal reasons that truly motivate change. Again, the key here is motivation. And you might come to other answers such as, I will improve my health. I will be present with my family. I will feel less stressed and have a more enjoyable life. Goldsmith shares a story of a U.S. Marine general who identified being less judgmental as an area for improvement. His first response, quote, if I become less judgmental, I won't have so much trouble dealing with the clowns at headquarters, end quote. But as he kept going, his responses became more revealing. By the 6th sentence, his eyes filled with tears, and he said, quote, if I become less judgmental, maybe my children will talk to me again, end quote. That's the real reason for change. That's what will drive lasting change. Now it's your turn. Are you willing to reflect on your own habits and uncover what truly is holding you back? I hope the areas we covered today challenge you to reflect, change, and take action that leads to more change. Take a moment right now. What's one behavior that might be holding you back because you think it's the key to your success? Could it actually be holding you back? If nothing comes to mind, I'm going to give you a couple things to think about. 3 questions. Again, on a scale 1 to 10, rate yourself. How do you delegate tasks? How do you accept feedback without defensiveness? How do you let go of control? If one of those stood out, write it down, because that could be your next opportunity for growth. A couple of ways to overcome these barriers is 1, seek honest feedback. Surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear. 2, be willing to change. Leadership growth requires humility, reflection, and intentional shifts in behavior. And 3rd, consider investing in a coach, a thought partner who can help you identify blind spots, develop new skills, and accelerate your leadership journey. So, in closing, a call to action for all of us. Do you want to take this further? Click on the link below in the show notes to download the free PDF of today's What Got You Here Won't Get You There exercise. This will give you a chance to answer the questions I covered, reflect on your own leadership journey, and map out specific changes that will help you grow. If today's episode was helpful, share it with a colleague and leave a review. It helps more leaders like you find this podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's all go, grow, and lead change with confidence.